This is a fascinating problem, and this will take longer than 1 minute usually for students to go through because it has so many steps. Many of the steps are straight out of algebra. What they're doing is they're checking your skills at handling what happens here. Can you see this after you've FOILed? And then this looks like the result after you FOILed. So there's something going on here. If you multiply this out, you get something like this. So now you can instantly see if I can get rid of the 15x squared and the abx, and the 14 disappears, now you're left with cx on one side and this on the other side. So the individual skills are, can you figure out what this means? You could have 0, you could have 1, you could have 2, different possibilities there. For a plus b equals 8. That's what they're asking there. Now, these are all the skills. Do you know the rules for multiplication? How they can be flipped? Do you know how to FOIL? And do you know how to balance an equation? Because basically, I saw the 14 here and the 14 here and said, okay, we can get rid of those. And the 14 shows up because of the FOIL. See? So the first thing to do in this situation was just to FOIL this so then we could see what's on both sides. That's the first thing to do. Then we have to simplify. If you have x on both sides, how do we remove the x? Well, let's look over here. See, there's x squared, x squared, and x after you remove the 14s. So now, do you remember that rule where if you pull out an x from everything, it looks something like this? You pull out an x, so the x times this, x times this, x times that. And now we can cancel those x's. Because if you multiply both sides by the same thing, you can divide both sides by the same thing, the x. And see all the layers that are in this one problem? What I'm asking students to do is to think like an SAT test maker. See? You have to use 2 times something, follow the rules. In some other problems, there was that 0, right? That becomes 1. Remember that rule? When the 0 is up there. And then how do you manage dividing by a fraction? These two things. And then what are the possibilities? You always have to include, it could be 0. And in this case, a is bigger than, or greater than 0. And b is bigger than or greater than 0. They talk about positive integers. Okay. We're back to here trying to get down. What is C? What is C? Well, what we can see is that rather than try to figure out every possibility for a plus b, we can narrow it down just by noticing that a times b is going to be 15x. And a could be 1 and 15, but that didn't work out because we have that rule that a plus b equals 8. So what if we try 3? Because 2 is out, 4 is out. 5 times 3. Okay, so now we have these rules that a could be 3 or a could be 5. Now's the time to kind of go to the answers and look what's going on. This one we can eliminate immediately. Right? When you're looking at the answers here, you can eliminate that one because that's the answer for a plus b. A and b, like the letter A could be a 3 or a 5. Letter B could be a 3 or 5, so you get rid of that one. Now we're down to these. turns out that when you add these two together, you get 41. Add these together, you get 31. The test maker wanted to create two pretty close answers. And so when we actually look at this, we know that the C is equal to 2b plus 7a. We get that from over here. See, 2b plus 7a equals to C. That's what we're trying to find. 2b plus 7a equals C. So now it's just, let's plug in some possibilities for A and B. This is a problem that you probably will invest 2 minutes in, and it will probably be later in the test. You might come back to this problem. You look at it and you say, wow, there's lots of layers in that. I'm going to skip this, try some others, and come back to it. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind might be thinking back at this video and thinking, okay, let's just substitute in for A, see what it could be, and for B. And isn't that interesting that both of these are the close answers, but not the right answer? So the close answer is one of the steps. And so we've eliminated those three, and bingo, that's where it is. So again, thank you for looking at this long video. You're watching this as one of the first videos that you might have seen. I'm asking you to look at a lot of videos and a lot of questions so that eventually you start thinking like, what are they testing me here? Looking back, this question has all of these pieces in it. Addition, the ability to FOIL, multiplication rules, and how to balance an equation, and then simplify it. How do you get rid of that x? Then it's just taking those possibilities and applying it to this situation. I found this so interesting that I wanted to give you that deeper look, because most of the time I'm just showing how to find the answer, the quick tip. This has been another free test pet by phone, and I invite students to take advantage of this program. Thank you.